The fastest way to create great LinkedIn content is not starting from scratch. Picture this. You're staring at a blank page. Again, you know you should post. You know consistency matters. But you have 0 ideas and 0 time. That was very much me in the beginning. And most people think, and so did I, that I'm just not creative enough. I need to find inspiration. Maybe if I go for a walk or meditate or whatever. Wrong. The solution is actually right in your feed. You just don't know how to use it yet. But by the end of this video, I'll show you how to go from 0 ideas to a polished post in a few minutes, using a strategy that top creators have been quietly using for years. Okay, but let's address the elephant in the room first. I hear you screaming, "That is just copying." And I disagree, and here's why. When you're learning guitar, you don't start by composing your own songs. You learn other people's songs first. You study their chords, the structure, the patterns. You practice what they are doing. You find stuff that's, too complicated for you, and you spend hours and hours learning it. And over time, your own style emerges, and it will inevitably be a blend of whoever your influences were. And it's the exact same thing with LinkedIn content. The top creators, they all study each other. And if you start following a couple of them, you see how they talk about similar stuff around the similar time, right? Somebody comes up with something and then the others talk about the same thing. Everybody does it. Justin Welsh has talked about this quite openly, actually. He analyzes viral posts, he reverse engineers what works, and then turns them into templates that he can easily reuse and adapt to his own voice. And he has been doing that before AI was around to take the pain out of that procedure, really. So for me, the difference between copying and modeling is simple. Copying is taking somebody's exact words. Modeling is studying the structure, the hook pattern, the format, and the mechanics, and then rewriting it with your own style, with your own expertise, with your own spin on it. I think you're just learning the language of what works. Personally, I see 3 massive benefits to this approach. Of course, it's fast. Starting from a proven structure is 10 times, 20 times faster than staring at a blank page. Easy. You already know that the hook pattern works. You already know that the format gets shared. You need to basically just fill in your expertise, right? Find something that looks good to you. Find something that talks about your topic and put your own spin on it, put your own media on it, and you're good to go. And then once you've done it for a while, once you've modeled 10, 20 posts, you start to see your own pattern emerge. And you'll also start to see and to figure out what works for you and for your audience, what your audience reacts to and what you can double down on. You might notice that, contrarian takes get saves. You might notice that specific numbers speak vague stats. You learn through doing, not just through reading or trying the hard way. Third, and this is counterintuitive, is your voice development. But by rewriting other people's posts, you don't start from 0, and it helps you to find your own voice faster. Because you read this and you're like, I like what the person says, but I would say it's slightly different. So you just edit that sentence. And over time with this, you find your own style very, very quickly. Because you're forced to ask, how would I say this? You read it and it doesn't feel like you, so you change it. What's my angle on this topic? Do I actually agree? Do I just want to write about this topic but have a different opinion on it? Go. You're not starting from 0. You're responding, you're adapting, you're making it your own. You're covering in a way. And here's the thing. Once you've done this 20, 30, 50 times, you don't need the templates anymore. Because then you've figured out what works for you and you can actually start iterating on your own stuff much more than you adopt others. You can still take an inspiration once or twice a week or something, but the majority of your posts, you will have your stable base that you can just continuously rework. Let's also be clear about what this is not, though. This is not a hack to pump out generic content. If you just pick a viral post and change a few words and hit publish, it will not work. LinkedIn's algo is way too sophisticated for that, and it can smell lazy from a mile away, and so can your audience. The modeling strategy works when you choose posts from your niche, when you completely rewrite them in your voice and style, when you ideally inject your own specific examples, data, stories, and plus points if you add value that the original post didn't have. To lean into music again, think of this like jazz musicians learning a jazz standard. And of course they learn the melody, but then they improvise on the melody and make it their own. You honor the structure, but you make it yours. So that's my philosophy on that. Now let me show you how we build this directly into ContentIn to make it as freaking easy and quick as possible. Okay, cool. So let's dive into how to do this. If you open the Ideas and Inspiration tab in ContentIn, you'll get a starting page with recent posts that we think are relevant to what you're doing. And so that's a good starting point to just browse through here and see if you can relate or if you like any of those. If you want to look for something more specific, you can just start searching for any keywords. So in my case, let's say personal brand, and then we'll look through our database and find stuff that's related to personal brand. You can also set an additional filter. Last 7 days is quite good if you want to find stuff that has recently gone viral that seems like people care about and that might be still like newsworthy or something. We also have a bunch of filters if you're looking for a specific type of post: growth, authority, personal. If you're looking for a specific structure, you can set a minimum engagement threshold as a filter, or you can filter by a specific creator. Now, let me see if I can find a post that I like. Maybe this one here, LinkedIn profile page. Okay, let's just go with this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on rewrite, and I'm going to rewrite it with AI. And now we'll let the ghostwriter do its magic. It will take that post as an input and then a bunch of my posts and my style prompt and all of this and combine it into one new post written in my style. And you can already see it's still about a LinkedIn profile, but it's like the structure is completely different. So what I would do now is basically I would just go through and make sure I adapt it to my specific use case. I'm really happy with how this post starts. It already mentions ContentIn IO. I might actually go in here and mention ContentIn. So down here, I'd probably go through this one by one, make sure that I agree with this. That's cool, nice. And then down here, this is pretty cool. So in this case, I would change this to use my lead magnet. I'm going to ask the AI to rewrite this. Please use my headline generator freebie instead. Here is the link. Let the AI edit that, and bam, we are using that. Now we have a very cool text post, right? We still need some media. So let's add some. Let's go for an AI image, shall we? Let's use me in the picture. Let's say me holding a sign saying your profile is your 24/7 sales. I am standing in a modern office wearing jeans and shirt in business casual. A friendly and confident impression on my face. Bam! Let's use this one, shall we? So, done, right? I guess depending on how much edits you want to do, you have to do. This might take you 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. If the ghostwriter is well trained on your style, editing becomes quicker and quicker and quicker over time. Pretty cool, no? Obviously, you can do the same thing by just, reading your feed and following the right people and pick a post from there. It'll just, be more manual work to actually get there, add your media, rewrite the post, and so on. Let me give you a little framework to have in the back of your mind when you do this though. First of all, make sure to choose strategically. Don't just pick any viral post. Make sure it makes sense to you, your audience, your offering, your niche, and so on. Rewrite it as much as possible. Now, there are limitations to this because a great structure is a great structure. A great flow is a great flow. So again, we are improvising on other people's posts, so they will always have some resemblance, right? But just make sure that when you read it, it feels like something you would say. I think that's what makes a great cover. That's what makes a great improvisation. If it feels like your song, your post. Just go out, start doing this, test and learn while you do it. Don't be afraid to post something that, you're not 100% sure about. You will get confidence over time. And if you want to take it up a notch, you can start to build your own templates from it. Especially if you don't want to use AI for this, it's quite handy to have, a bunch of templates that work for you and have a feed with people that write about your stuff, and then you combine the two. And please understand this. Every expert, every big creator, personal brand out there was once a beginner who studied the experts before them. And every great writer read thousands of books before writing their own. Every musician learned hundreds of covers before writing their own originals. This is not cheating, this is skill development. And we are living in the age where we can aid that with AI. How lucky are we? The people who struggle on LinkedIn are usually trying to completely be original from day one, to start from scratch, to write their own stuff. And this is honorable, but it is the hardest way to do it and to learn anything. And the people who succeed, they model, they adapt, and they learn the patterns. And then they innovate based on that. You need the system to not burn out in this game because it is a marathon and not a sprint. And you need the right system to be able to get to the point where it all starts to make sense and click together. So stop feel guilty about studying what works. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel with every single post. I guarantee you that your original posts where you try something new will get worse engagement than when you rewrite something that has already worked and you add your spin on it. I guarantee you that the latter will outperform the former, especially if you're starting out. Over time, once you've developed your own style, once your audience has adapted to your stuff, this might work. In the beginning, I can tell you from experience, from the numbers of our users, rewriting existing posts will outperform whatever you're doing originally. And quick note on how we integrated this into ContentIn. One of the biggest problems for everybody is to just get started with content and with posting. So we've tried to make that as simple as possible by building this inspiration board and giving you a jump start and giving you tools that will get you there 80-90% of the way. Over time, the AI ghostwriter will learn and understand your style better and better. The more you post, the better the ghostwriter will get, the less you will have to edit, and the more original all the ideas, all the writing will become. All right, so here's your challenge for next week. Go to the inspiration board or do it manually and find 5 viral posts in your niche that are relevant to your ICP, to your audience. Model one of them per day for 5 days. Rewrite them completely in your voice, your specific examples and your specific expertise. Do it manually or do it automatically with ContentIn. Post them and track which structure performed best for you, which approach, which hook, and so on. And by the end of the week, you'll have 5 posts published, some pattern recognition, and some initial ideas on what works in your niche. You will have a faster content creation muscle and data on what resonates with your audience. And you'll probably be shocked how much easier it was to do that with post 5 compared to post 1. If you want to try out ContentIn to make that process even faster for you, we've got a 14-day free trial. Link is down in the description. And now I'm off to modeling a few posts myself. See ya.